surge in the amount of traffic. How many people have read The Big Switch? This is a very useful book by Nicholas Carr. He's not a technical person. He's written basically a historical book looking at how the electric utility industry underwent a total transformation from 1910 to about 1930. In 1910, 100 years ago, if you were running a factory in America, you had a vice president for electricity. And he, and it was almost always a he, ran all these generators for your factory to run and create electricity. Then utilities came in, had a much better business proposition. They could provide much lower cost electricity. You didn't have to have all these staff working for the vice president of electricity, and it was more reliable because the electricity was coming from several different power plants. That same thing is happening now with computing, and Nicholas goes through the full dynamics and some of the economics. So this is a big deal. Gartner says it's as big as e-business. I think it's, as I said, it's as powerful as the World Wide Web. And this is why. First phase, you had a laptop or you had a server in your basement, and everything was there. Applications, data, very simple. Then the web came along, phase two. Now you had access to a lot more data because your browser opened up the world of the web and you could go to millions of different websites. Phase three is the cloud. And now you can have very simple devices and everything can be in the cloud, the applications and the data. That's cool, that's exciting. But what's really exciting are the arrows, the connections between the bubbles. The fact is now you can take data from one place, combine it with an application from somewhere else, tie it into another piece of application. You can't do that in phase one or phase two. And that's what's the real power behind this cloud. And virtual worlds, of course, are one of the very exciting applications that will ride on this cloud and will be enabled by this ability to mix and match. Second big news, of course, is the Internet of Things. Today we have a little less than 1.5 billion PCs that connect to a net and a little over 1 billion cell phones that are net-enabled, although a lot of them aren't being used for surfing the net. We're looking forward to a world where we have 100 million devices, all sorts of interesting new applications, thousands, millions of sensors connected to the net. This is going to enable new uses for the cloud, and it's going to empower new virtual world applications. In this world, your camera will be connected to the net. You'll just upload images to the cloud. Light bulbs in this room might very well be plugged into the cloud. So you can monitor usage, turn them on, off and on as needed. My dog is going to be connected to the cloud. You can already buy a pet collar. It has a Wi-Fi connection on one side and a GPS receiver on the other. About $100, you can track your dog in cyberspace. Third phase, of course, third big trend, and we've all heard about this, is Facebook, Twitter, connecting people to people. Some people don't think this matters. Fortune did a story saying Web 2.0 is so over. Their argument was it was about money, and no one seemed to be making much money. And at this point, that's really true. But the fact is this does matter because it's providing us a new platform that's replacing, in many cases, replacing email, spurring new innovation, and it's giving users a very big reason to stay continuously connected. If you're a Twitterholic or you're checking your Facebook updates every 2 hours, you need that all-time, real-time connectivity. The other thing that matters is it got our president elected. And so this team that's in the White House really understands there's a new world out there and that we have this many-to-many form of collaboration online. There's a wonderful article in Technology Review, came out in September, looking at how it was done, how they used the net to mobilize volunteers, to build community, to mobilize donors. In all, they organized about 100,000 different events. Or actually, I should correct myself. It was the Obama community, not the Obama campaign, that organized over 100,000 different events. Bake sales, door-to-door efforts, debate watching parties, all these different things that happened because people could get together, find other supporters, and go out and do something to help the campaign. And Obama got into Second Life very early, well before the primary season ended. There was also a very big blowout block party in Second Life in September, right before the election. But this is Barack Obama in cyberspace, or in virtual worlds. They didn't have a very good turnout at their rally, and one of the women was wearing butterfly wings. But at least they got out there. They understand the technology, and they did use it. The fourth big trend, of course, is internet video. And this has been a discussion that's been really focused on where the money's being made, where the commercial television programming is made available. But as we know, the real excitement is the amateur video, the video of virtual worlds, the video from World of Warcraft, the video from the Friday night football game, or the high school debate, or this conference. There are some very optimistic estimates. One of them from Carnegie Mellon University says that by the end of this year, 98% of all the traffic on the net in this country will be in the form of video. That's a phenomenal shift when you think about it, and it's actually being accelerated by the recession/depression. People are giving up their cable, and they're just watching programming on their laptop. So there's a lot of movement here, a lot of very exciting things happen, and again, this is going to have an impact on virtual worlds where people are gathering together to share video. George Gilder has courageously gone and put some numbers on the increase in traffic that we're going to see over the next 7 or 8 years on the internet. He describes this as the exaflood, because we're going to have exabytes of information flowing over the net. We're going to see a surge over the next 4 or 5 years, very much like the surge that we saw when the web first burst out into the commercial marketplace in the mid-90s. There was a period of about 2 years where the amount of traffic was actually increasing by a factor of 2 every 3 or 4 months, factor of 10 every year. It was true for about 2 years. Unfortunately, that factoid kept being repeated for about 5 or 6 years, and a lot of very bad investments were made because people in 1997 and 1998 believed that this doubling every 3 months was going to continue to happen. But we are at a point now where we're seeing this huge ramp up as we go to a many-to-many collaborative world, and a lot more data is going to be flying in a lot more places. So expect a factor of between 30 and 80-fold increase in the next 5 years. A lot of different places that this will come from. Movie downloads will be about 1/10 of it. Internet video, virtual worlds, about 1/5 of it. The biggest chunk is going to be group meetings, video calling. These numbers, as I should point out, are off by at least 50%. We're not sure which way. But I give Gilder and Swanson credit for putting some numbers down just to show what's possible and what's likely to happen.